strike has to be a last resort. It's not something of which you can just dish out willy-nilly and refuse to go and sit on arbitration to resolve it. Now it will be month end. It's 3 weeks. People have been going on no work, no pay. And we really think it's not appropriate. We think really that our staff members that are on strike, although they know what they're doing, they're adults, they're exercising their rights, I think it's ill-advised because really there is no need for now to go on the strike. Our position, it's in line with the organization's performance culture going forward, the type of a culture that we want to inculcate at MTN. So we really don't just come up with policy positions for the sake of the public or to appease someone or to appease anyone. Our remuneration policies are linked to our strategic objectives in terms of what is it that we want to motivate as an organization going forward. For staff members, they didn't respond positively to the call to strike for a variety of reasons. One is because the union, CW, is not recognized at MTN. It doesn't have the necessary numbers to be recognized. So in order for it to be recognized, it should have at least 30% representativity. They do not have the 30%. They're seated at plus minus, if I'm not mistaken, 19%, between 19 and 20%. There was lots of intimidation, lots of violence, and as I indicated, people got injured. And then the police served the court interdict to the unions, and then still they refused to leave, and then they blockaded the entrances and so forth, hence the resorting to firing of the rubber bullets and so forth. Our call centers are outsourced. And then sometimes it's a misnomer to refer to people who occupy the call centers as temps. They're not temps, they're permanently employed by their employers, that is the service providers. So they went on an illegal strike because some of them, well, it could have been the issue of violence, intimidation, and there are instances whereby full complement of staff members in Midrand, KZN, and Bolukwana will turn up in the morning for work, only to find that they're being blockaded by fewer striking workers, fully armed with pangas, knives, stones, rocks, all such weapons. So what would happen is that we would encourage such staff members to go back home because we never wanted any confrontation whereby people end up losing their lives over things that could be resolved easily. MTN's position has always been consistent. If the organization doesn't meet its performance targets, a bonus is not payable. Despite that, what we did is that we paid staff members an equivalent of 4% annual salary in March when a bonus was not declared. We then moved ahead and then indicated that in December this year, we'll pay another 4%, which takes it up to 8%. So when the whole issue about bonuses started, staff members demanded an equivalent of a 13th check, which is an equivalent of like 8% annual salary. So MTN has always been of the view that, yes, despite the fact that the bonus targets were not met, we did manage to put 8% on the table, 4% in March, another 4% like in December, despite the fact that bonus targets were not met. If you look at our policies in terms of bonuses, we went against our own policies in terms of what we've put on the table. But then we also come again with a comprehensive solution whereby we're saying going forward, because we didn't want a repeat of this, we said going forward, we will consider giving our people in March an equivalent of 8%, and then in December next year another 4%, which takes it up to like 12% annual salary. But those proposals now are a subject of our group remuneration committees to have a look at and then to approve and to look in terms of how then do we move forward. But what we've come up with on the table is something comprehensive. It's not something that addresses the current situation. We've come up with a roadmap in terms of resolving this. The union then rejected that altogether, which we found to be totally unreasonable. Two, issues pertaining to salary increases. The union has always been of the view that the salary increases are a function of bargaining, whereby we sit around the table and then we debate and then then you issue a salary increase. So they demanded 10% salary increase because they were mistakenly of the view that we offered staff members a wholesale across the board salary increase of 5%. So we sat down with the union to say the reason why MTN is one of the top like 70 brands in the universe, the reason why MTN exists and it's the top brand in Africa in relation to telecommunications, it's simply because when it comes to our remuneration model, specifically salary increases. Salary increases are a function of individual performance. If you want to score or you want to get a 10% salary increase, we expect you to score a specific number or to achieve a specific target in terms of your own individual performance. Then you'll get 10%. There are staff members that who received almost 15% salary increase this year. Why? Based on their performance, individual performance scores. So the union is saying, no, that is not what they want. They believe that when it comes to salary increases, we need to sit around the table and then we debate, and then from then we haggle, and then after then we agree on a number to say, okay, everyone must get a 10% increase, irrespective of how the person has performed. So that we reject it outright, and it's not going to happen, because then it goes against the grain of what we stand for. Our industry exists in a highly competitive environment, ICT environment. You need people to be motivated in terms of individual personal growth, innovation, and so forth. So we're not going to have a situation whereby we sit around the table and then we just dish out salary increases like that. That will not happen. So they have understood that. So they have dropped that demand. The issue of Sunday work, holiday work, and overtime, whatever, and the like, the union has dropped that demand too, because they realize that our policies are really not, they do not violate Basic Conditions of Employment Act. We really pay people based on what the law indicates and the like. And we said to them, if they've got, incidents where staff members have been paid amounts that are not in line maybe with public work or public holiday or Sunday work, they must give us those isolated incidents then, but they mustn't generalize it as if it's MTN's policy whatsoever and the like. So they've dropped that altogether. Issue of recognition, once again, it's a statutory, regulatory, admin issue. You bring the numbers, we audit the numbers, and then you get your recognition if you have the numbers. But the problem is that the union has got lots and lots of members who are not our employees, who belong to the outsourced parties, and they insist on including them as part and parcel of our headcount. So what we have proposed as MTN is to say, let's go for arbitration in order to resolve the strike if we don't agree. Arbitration, it means that we appoint someone from the High Court, from the Labour Court, from CCMA, who will listen to both submissions and then make a final definitive ruling on whatever that we agree on. The second that definitive ruling is made, it means that the strike is over, the strike becomes illegal, and then whoever that continues to strike can be dismissed. And we will abide by the outcome of such arbitration. The union is refusing flatly. They don't want to go for arbitration. They prefer what is known as mediation. Mediation, we sit around the table and then we get someone to chair the meeting. That person doesn't have powers to come up with any binding agreement. We have to see upon ourselves as warring parties to come to a certain type of an agreement. So the union has been refusing to go for arbitration. They prefer mediation.